Hey guys, welcome to another video. Kudabiza here. I'm really excited about this video because I'm going to be focusing on the top 10 dividend paying ETFs. So I'm essentially going to be diving deep into the ETFs that have the highest dividend yield. And I've done some research to identify that top 10 list. So we're going to dive into it one by one. And also, by the way, if you also want a PDF that has more details about these ETFs, you can click the link in the bio and you get a detailed PDF that goes through the ETFs, what they do, current stock price, expense ratio, and all that jazz. So anyway, let's dive into the list. Okay, sitting at number 10 is DIPS, ticker symbol DIPS. It's currently trading for $6.75, but as you can see, it has a 100% dividend yield, which means that had you purchased it 12 months ago, over the past 12 months, you would have essentially received $6.70 back in dividend. And they pay out monthly. They're part of the Yield Max portfolio. So really, really strong contender. And their strategy is to short NVIDIA. So you need to remember with the Yield Max portfolio, then options income ETF. So essentially they'll be trading NVIDIA shorts in order for them to generate money. So if you can take a look at the dividend schedule, right, you can see that in July, they just declared 17 cents in dividend, which was paid out the very next day on the 18th. The previous month, it was 30 cents, 35 cents, 61 cents. So you can kind of like see that it's been going down lately. Partly, I think, mainly because I think the NVIDIA stock has been going up. But over time, hopefully you'll be able to get your 100% dividend. So that is sitting at number 10. It is the ETF DIPS. At number 9, we have SMCY, and this is a yield max dividend paying ETF focused on SMCI. Right now, it's currently trading at $21, and it has a 102% dividend yield, meaning that if you purchased it 12 months ago, over the past 12 months, you'd have received $21.80 in dividend. And it also pays out monthly. And as you can see, these are the dividend payouts that you'd have received over the past couple of months. Now, had you had, let's say, 1,000 shares of this, you'd have essentially collected $1,600 in dividend this July. So not bad. They have very, very healthy payouts. You can look in October, they paid out $5.35. So this was certainly a good month. But SMCY is the one that's sitting at number 9. And at number 8, we have AIYY, and this is an AI-related ETF, currently trading at $4.28, has a dividend yield of 123%, meaning that had you purchased this about a year ago, you would have made $5.28 back in dividend. Also pays out monthly, like most of the Yield Max portfolio. And here are the payouts. So again, there have been some months where they've been strong, but these latest months have been not as strong. So obviously, over a 12-month period, you hope that the average for that is quite healthy. But so far, the last trailing 12 months, they've delivered 123% in dividend yield. Another one that's also at 123% is CONY, CONY. This is a Yield Max ETF for Coinbase. And you can see 123%, you'd have used $9 to buy the position, and you'd have earned $11 per share in dividend. They also pay out monthly. So another solid player in the dividend paying ETFs. And at number 6, we have TSLY, the Yield Max dividend paying ETF that tracks Tesla. 132% dividend yield. That's really awesome. $7 per share right now, and they've dished out $9.96 cents per share in dividends over the past 12 months. They also pay out monthly. So another really good, strong contender. Now, one thing I just want you guys to pay attention to as you're making your selection, always be paying attention to the dividend growth. Now, although the dividend yield is strong, but it's been declining, as you can see, over the past 12 months. So just be paying attention to that before you make a decision, because you can see $1.20, $1.30, but now it's paying out at 40. The dividend yield over time is still strong, but just be paying attention to your dividend growth when you're making the decision to purchase. So now let's hop on to number 5. At number 5, you have one of my personal favorites, which is MSTY, 130% dividend yield. $27 per share you'd have received having put in $21. They pay out monthly. Right now, they're not showing their dividend growth, but a quick scan, you can see that it's somewhat dropped, but it's kind of like been consistent, right? Over here, it's dropped obviously from the previous month, but the month before this jump was at $1.30. So you just have to accept that there are going to be some months like this one where you get a really, really big dividend yield. So you look at these 2 months, right? You got $8 per share in 2 months, but the previous months, it was an average of $2. So you just have to make sure that you accept that there are these ebbs and flows. But over the long term, right, over a 12-month period, it's still 130% dividend yield. So this is also quite strong as well. Coming in at number 4, it is MRNY, which is the ETF that tracks Moderna. 140% dividend yield. Very, very solid, very, very strong. And the price of the stock is actually quite relatively cheap. As you can see, the ETF right now, it's priced at $2.50. So you can really rack up on these ones. You buy 100 of those for $250, and you'd make $350 per share in dividend income over the next 12 months. So it's pretty solid, in my opinion. All right, we're getting closer and closer and closer to the top. So sitting at number 3 is CRSH, and this is a ETF that shorts Tesla. And it's coming in at 144% in dividend yield. That's quite strong, right? Because if you look into it, you're going to be putting in about $4.62 into the position. And over 12 months, you make close to $7 in dividend income while you're still holding on to the position. They also pay out monthly. So if you're looking for cash flow, right, not really looking into capital appreciation, but more of the cash flow, these high dividend yield ETFs could be really, really solid for that type of strategy. And for me, when I'm investing in these, that's really the strategy. The strategy is I'm getting cash flow, and I know over time, the value of the position might drop, but you'll be surprised. Some of these positions actually go up in value. Sitting at number 2 is ETHD, and this is a ProShares Ultra Short, and essentially it's coming in at 200% in dividend yield. $5 price, $5.82, and a dividend yield per share over the last 12 months of $11.86. Pays out monthly as well, and it's quite solid at 200%. Take a look at their last declaration. It was 3 times the previous month, right? Or about double, right? So in June, they did about 30 cents, and here they did about 70 cents. But in May, a staggering $4, right? So that's what I was saying, is you just need to prepare yourself for months where you get like super big bumps, right? And then there are going to be months where things might not really play out. But the cool thing is that when you aggregate everything, 200% dividend yield, that's really, really strong. Now, before we go into number 1, let's just compare this with a VOO, right? VOO's dividend yield is 1%. And if you held VOO for a year, you'd have only made $7 in your dividend earnings. but you would have had to pay $500 for this position. Now, this is where it becomes interesting, right? So you paid almost $600 to only get $7 in dividend income. Well, with $600 on this position, you can essentially buy 100 shares, right, for $600. With VOO, you can only buy one. And take a look at this, right? They paid out $11.86 in dividend. So now if you do 11 times 100, right, you're looking at a pretty solid dividend payout. So in this particular situation, your dividend income over the last 12 months would have been $1,100, but you only paid $600 to get into the position. Now, let's think about this. A lot of people are going to argue and say, like, well, the capital is going to depreciate. These stocks don't hold value. I get that argument. But you looked at VOO, right? It's only been up like maybe $80 over the last year, right? $80, you paid $600, give or take, for it. It's appreciated about $80. So you paid about $500 for it. It's appreciated $80. And you've only made $7 in dividend. So you've made a total of $87 on your position. Whereas with this one, you made $1,100 in dividend income, and you still own about $600 of the position. I don't know. So for people who are always arguing that, these things drop in price, I would do the full calculation, because I would take a 200% dividend yield every day over a 1% dividend yield. But that's just me. All right, now let's go on to number one. And number one goes to Fiat. They have a staggering 350% dividend yield. It's currently going below $3. And take a look. Over the last 12 months, they've dished out $10.50, give or take, in dividends. They pay out monthly. And again, how many would you have bought for the price of one VOO share? About 20. You multiply 20 times 10, that's how much you'd have made in your dividend earnings over the last year, which is about $2,000. So anyway, just wanted to share with you the top 10 list. And like I said, if you want the PDF with the entire list and a breakdown of what they do and all that good stuff, the link is in the bio. So be sure to grab that link, and I'll see you guys on the other side. And by the way, before I forget, please let me know, what ETFs are you investing in order for you to make some dividend income? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next video.